to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you for being here with me today. We are broadcasting live from the Universal Broadcasting Network studios in Hollywood, California. Hello, Jarvis Essex, my amazing producer, who is showing his authority over Mercury retrograde. Yes, indeed, it is Mercury retrograde again, and I was reminded of it. I'm really excited to have the guest on I have today because she's the one who actually helps me to stay on task about the planetary alignments and the different energies that are being offered. Because it's not, I know it's coming and I hear it's coming and then I kind of forget. And I'm like, oh, did that start again? And so I was reminded that we were about 2 days in. Just the other morning, was it yesterday morning? I think it was. Yeah, yesterday morning, and my husband and I had some words that were mostly, but you just said, and I didn't mean that, but you just said, no, but you said that, but I didn't, that's not what I said, I didn't mean that. And I was like, oh Lord, Mercury retrograde, it's all about communication and cleaning up the vibration of communication. Not all about, that's one of the things that tends to happen. And it was interesting when I remembered, I was like, cool the jets. This is all right. We just chill out. Nope. Everybody loves everybody and everybody's doing their best. And it's just time to go inside a little bit. And so I did. I went and I spent time in nature because that was going to be the much better choice than to continue to be creating a web of confusion between us. But we're fine. Everything's awesome. We actually sorted some things out. It was really fine. And I want to say hello to the Lightworkers Lab, the online spiritual community that is hosted on Facebook, founded by Crystalline Compton, an incredible resource for your spiritual growth and fellowship. I invite you to go and check it out. Just search in Facebook for the Lightworkers Lab and it will show up as a group. And we would love to have you. We're going to talk more about it because my guest today is an important force in the Lightworkers Lab community. Well, I guess without further ado, how about I just invite her in? And she is an Angel Realm Reader and Channel. She's been on the show two or three times. And I'm happy to welcome back Lauren Antuofermo. Hey.
Hi.
How are you today on this Mercury day?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little gloomy here today, but it's a nice quiet Sunday and I'm happy to be here with you again. Really excited. Always fun.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Oh my gosh, always illuminating for me, enlightening. So thank you so much for being here, Lauren. And like I said, Lauren is an important part, an influence, a guide. Really, she's the manager of the Lightworkers Lab. And how much has this impacted your development in so many ways, just to have this community?
Oh my gosh, so much. I had my spiritual journey and opening up with intuition and channeling a couple of years before I stumbled upon Crystalline Compton, who is the founder of the Lightworkers Lab, and slowly became a part of her community. And just the light that she holds there for the people that are connected to her and her classes and her teachings, she holds such a space for loving personal development that I kind of found more confidence being there and just being connected to that energy and wanting to be part of it, and then knowing how to it. It's just been really amazing for me to be there. Not only did I learn more about what I was doing in my personal path just by having a community that supported individual, reflection on the self and on the spiritual journey, but, really gave me a space to be what I wanted to reflect within myself, if that makes sense.
100%. And you hold that light for all of us there too. Lauren is up live a couple of times a week, usually, at least one time a week, offering channeled messages and guidance, as well as, readings and counseling. It's really a phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough about it. And if it isn't the Lightworkers Lab, if you're not one who is really into social media, I do encourage you to find a community, find a spiritual community, or start one, start a development circle or something like that through meetup.com. It's really empowering. It's really powerful. That's why, we join our light together and we just become so much more because of that fire that's lit.
So that's a huge thing I've learned, definitely, that when we connect together with not just like mind, but with people that are supportive, that are loving, that are connected to our growth, but also to their own, it just increases the light, to be very typical. It increases the light. It increases the ability for us to be fully authentic and be fully open-hearted. And when you come together like that, you can't help but shine. You can't help but, affect one another positively. And so I'm a big believer that although sometimes light workers can feel very isolated, that the one of the best things to do for self-discovery and self-love is to be connected with a community that really supports the growth and the light that you want to shine.
Yes. It gives you the chance to just, like you say, authenticity, transparency is so important, because people who are compassionate, who are light workers, who are here to be way showers, you really just want to be light all the time. But the world, like kind of typical society tells you that that's not cool, that it's weak and it's not welcome to even just be light, to be positive, to see that, and not in a fake way, not in a false positive way, but in a real way of, I want to feel loving today. I want to be loved today, but the world will reject you for that sometimes. Not that, and that's okay. That's everyone's choice. And I believe that it is our job to continue to be love anyway, but we get out of the habit of it if we keep getting that response,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to have the facility to just express love and be love, and someone's going to be like, yes to that and more. Here's some more.
Right. And I'll tell you what, just to add on to that, when I feel connected to people that are supportive, I have less worry about being judged. And so I don't concentrate on that feeling or that fear or that worry or that disconnect on the outside anymore, because as I get comfortable, in my smaller community, like when I first started, quote unquote, coming out of the spiritual closet, there was a lot of times that I just stood in my own energy, which kind of caused me to feel a little isolated and burdened. And then I found an online community, and then I started to feel good about it, feel encouraged, feel like I'm not the only one, which eventually made me really extend out of my small circle and just be who I am, which really changed my entire life. I mean, I was very, very closeted in a lot of ways. I mean, I basically went from a very conservative, like-minded job in the military, where this kind of stuff is very not accepted, and to, making it well known that I did this stuff, that I talked to past loved ones, and that I did, spiritual kind of work. And then, I became known as the hippie at work, and those that accepted me just accepted me. And those that didn't, I didn't have to make it somebody else's issue. I could just be who I was without, changing who I related to. I don't know. It was weird. The more I felt comfortable within myself, the less fear I had about being myself, even when I wasn't around like-minded people. And that's the importance of finding your tribe, because that helps you feel good in yourself, so that outside of the tribe, you're just still in the light of love, because you have that support. You have that connection with people that do understand you. And so it becomes less about, who can I feel safe around, and more about encouraging the safety within, because you've found a tribe that loves you as you are.
And I just heard on Facebook, a friend of mine on Facebook mentioned approval addiction. And that's what we have. We're addicted to, and it's perfectly natural, because if we should be approved because we want to approve of ourselves. And if we spend time around some other people who are activating the vibration of approval, then you're just going to start to approve of yourself and lose that outward referencing for approval and acceptance. And then when you get into an environment in that outside world kind of place, and someone is feeling in they're vibrating to rejection of you, or rejection, not really of you, but of the positivity, because they're not accustomed to it. What then happens with that approval addiction gone is you just feel compassion for them. And then you can adjust yourself to meet them where they are and love them even more. And that's my experience. Do you agree?
I completely agree, because, and that's what allowed me to feel comfortable, because rather than fearing their judgment, I was feeling compassion, more so for myself, which automatically made me have compassion for them. Because there was a time where I was very judgmental. I even went through a period where I was kind of like, atheist. I didn't believe in,
Of course.
and
Yeah, me too. Totally. I was
so
pragmatic, Yeah, that's what I called it.
I think when you understand yourself,
Hmm.
you give room for other people to be themselves and where they are, and don't make that who they are,
Mm.
just where they are.
Yes.
And then that becomes less of a personal attack, and you don't even think about it.
Yes, that's beautiful. Where they are, not who they are. And also what they're responding to rather than who they're responding to. As I was just saying a moment ago, I started to say rejecting you, but it's really not that. They're rejecting themselves, and they're rejecting aspects of themselves that are calling out to feel positive, but that feels unsafe. And I say positive again. I think that sometimes we think of positivity as something that's fake. I mean, truly affirmative, truly
Right.
in the acceptance and the allowance of love and of light and of healing, of the process of vitality rather than negativity.
Right.
Well,
Right.
actually, I love that you have now started to use the professional title of Archangel Realm Reader. Oh, do you want to tell people a little bit about that work? Because it's so powerful.
Yeah, well, Archangel Metatron actually gave me that title,
Oh, good.
to
I
be
love it.
honest, because I was having such a difficult time trying to figure out what to call myself. When people ask me what you do, like, what do I say? Am I intuitive? Am I in channel? Am I a medium? What am I? And there's all of that encompassed in what I do. There's many things. So I was having a hard time not trying to box myself into something,
Yeah.
but the bulk of what I do is connecting with that archangel realm, that where I get my guidance from, whether it's intuitive or where it's coming from, is basically that kind of energy. So when I say archangel realm, I'm connecting with, the experience of that source frequency rather than anything or anyone or any job title in particular. So that felt really good to me.
I like it.
And what I do is connecting with the archangel realm. I can work with different archangels. I can work with my higher self through which I find the ability to connect with archangels. So it was like finding the higher self and then connecting to the archangel realm, and then receiving, all kinds of valuable guidance, and trusting in that I'm able to reveal that higher source energy, and knowing that it's coming through me and not necessarily from me, although it's from me because I'm connecting with the energy to it. So it's hard to explain, because the way my guides say it, or the way they say it, is that you are connected to love. Love becomes your communication. You are receiving love, therefore becoming love, therefore transmitting love, all in the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I am the revealer, the receiver, and the connection to it. And it's as simple as that, but try not to think about it too hard, because when I do, I'm like, I just get more confused.
Yeah, trying to make that left brain agree.
Right, right, right.
That's interesting. Well, it's interesting, but it's not, just so you guys know. It is interesting. I start a sentence like that, and then I'm like, well, it's Lauren. Lauren and I are often, like, maybe always, we don't necessarily touch base on everything every single day, but will be what she's talking about right there. I've actually been having this conversation with the archangels in particular, and this idea, the way the conversation has been coming through for me is, there is no, there's just one. There's only one being, one consciousness. That's the highest truth, the singularity, and we get to be pieces of that singularity. We get to be pieces, an expression of God. And so the archangels aren't, they are, we use the word higher, but that's really in quotation. It's not like a hierarchy, like
Right.
they're in charge
Better
or better.
yeah.
No, they are us and we are them, because there is only one. So as you, like, this kind of like paradox, or is, it seems confusing if we try to really ground it to linear understanding.
Right. Well,
That's
if you
where it
look
gets
at it
off.
this way, the point of perception is different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's the perception, or the advantage point, really, that we have that's different. And when we are able to extend our communication to that higher realm of existence, there's still only a portion of it that we're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are very similarly aligned in that we are very focused on that higher frequency, and giving words to what we receive comes through differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my focus may be slightly different than somebody else who channels the archangels. But that's because our human perspective is focused a little bit more, where they have infinite knowledge, infinite connection, infinite source energy of abundance that they never doubt it for a second. Each human has their own, relatively speaking, communication from what they are experiencing. And so the way that I would bring in information may sound different than perhaps, somebody else who channels, but it would be of highest form to discuss the advantage of love being the constant in all of it. If there's any based connection, then you know that that energy isn't really communicating from that higher frequency, because in perfect love there is no fear, right? So as we connect, we understand love because it feels like love. We understand pain, fear, frustration, anger, or hostility because it feels like those things. And when we communicate with source, we are allowing that uninhibited source flow through us. Yet from our particular vibrational frequency, our particular vantage point as a human, we are bringing through what we know to be true as far as what we can offer through our own perspective too, right? So my perspective is on emotional vibration. I talk a lot about emotional vibration. I'm definitely not the only one that does, but my particular offering would talk less about different realms of existence. Like I don't talk about the different dimensions, and I don't talk about, different entities and different frequencies of human beings and star beings. I just talk in general about the emotional state, and somebody else might be more interested in diving in deeper to the different levels of dimensional reality, and they may be able to channel that kind of stuff, but it would all be from the perspective of love. That makes sense.
Yes, I get this image of, it actually seems like Archangel Metatron, and it's like when we open ourselves up to that higher realm, and again, not in a linear sense of higher, but when we do that, when we open ourselves up, and then it's like they take a flashlight and they say, okay, I can feel you. I can feel what would be best for you to bring forward right now. And they shine it into you. And then Lauren, as a person who delivers that message, it's about you, but it's also about everyone else who is showing up, because that piece of them, that perspective in them that wants to be opened up and brought into the light and brought into higher frequency shows up, and then we all do it together. And so that's how it is. A part of it is you, it is them. It's a dance. That's not even a dance. It's a co-creation, is what it is. Yes. And well, we were going to talk today about, we are already on a whole thing. So that's what Angel Realm Reader means. And we want to talk today because Lauren is a fantastic astrologist. I know you don't claim to be an astrologist, but to me.
Yeah, I got corrected. It's called astrologer.
Oh, so thank you. Yeah. As I said that.
I was like, okay.
Thank you. I was, as I was saying it, I was like, which one is it? So astrologer. I'll remember that from now on. Yeah, I guess an astrologist would be someone who studies it, whereas an astrologer would be one who works with it. That maybe that's the distinction. Anyway, Lauren is fantastic with astrology, and she is doing a lot of work in talking about the planetary alignment and how it actually does affect that emotional frequency that we emit. And again, this is about empowerment. So why don't you explain how that generally, collectively, personally, how that works?
Yes. All right. I'd love to. And it's interesting because what we were just talking about, human perspective, really leads into this, because when we're connecting to the earth, we have a certain vibrational frequency that is already aligned to earth energy. When we're connecting to earth energy, we have a vantage point from where we stand to the rest of our galaxy, to the rest of our planetary alignments. We are part of that energy. So what we are affected by is the cycle of the sun. So astronomy is different than astrology. Many people kind of confuse the two, but our perspective is here from Earth. So whatever, and because we revolve around the sun, what we do is contemplate the stars and the planets based upon our connection to our frequency, our Earth perspective here. And so what the planets do is create their own frequency. They are utilizing its own influence, and how we perceive it is based upon our communication to ourselves, to the earth, to what we feel the energy is being interpreted as, what we are experiencing it as. So although Mercury is the planet of communication and technology and contracts and all the stuff that we associate Mercury with, and if you're new to this, Mercury is just the planet of communication, teaching, anything having to do with teaching, speech, communication between people, technology, those things that are available to create interaction with one another. Because Mercury looks to be going backwards from the Earth perspective, it has an influence on our energy. It basically slows down the energy that we are receiving from Mercury. So rather than Mercury emitting a certain vibration of, oh no, I'm going to make Earth have all kinds of negative situations in communication, and I'm going to start breaking down all your appliances, it is that from our Earth perspective, we are receiving an energy, and when that energy is perceived to go backwards, things begin to go over what was recently communicated.
Mm-hmm.
So because the planet's going backwards, that's why we're talking about reevaluating, reassessing, being careful to look at details before making real action-oriented decisions. And so it's not that Mercury causes problems, except that we see a problem when we want to fight against the energy that we're in. So if we're fighting against the energy we're in, we're trying to combat Mercury. We're trying to go forward in things that we are missing because we're not in alignment with reviewing, with connecting to slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
If we could treat Mercury retrograde as if it were a gift, we would have completely different experiences.
Right.
We would kind of allow that energy to fill us up with love and joy and say, oh, wow, I can't wait for this Mercury retrograde, because now, instead of making a decision that might go wrong in the future, I get to see how I am inwardly connecting.
Mm-hmm.
The retrograde also makes us go inward, reflect inward, rather than do, outside. The energy asks us to be connected to what we are revealing. So again, as a communication planet, we're looking for, what does it mean to us? What are we connecting to? What are we communicating with? And when we make the decision to go forward without paying attention to the energy we're in, we will often make mistakes because we're not slowing down enough to review what is happening, to receive what is happening in love. We're wanting to push against it. So that's why a lot of people often have trouble during a Mercury retrograde. But no matter what, even if there's frustration, there's still the connection of slowing down. It makes you review. It makes you stop. It makes you receive what the energy is that you're projecting. And you have a chance to kind of realign it before the world starts going forward again, before the action really takes a hold. And then it's hard to take back something, right? It's hard to take something back once you put it into motion. So Mercury retrograde is about, loving you enough to say, hey, take a look at that before you put it into motion, so that it can, really be communicated in the best way. So that is
an amazing way to describe it. I hadn't really thought about it, that it's like almost literally, it's like I'm trucking along, and it's like, oh, now I'm going backwards. I'm just going backwards, kind of like in reverse over the almost, I'm just kind of putting a linear face on it to be able to grasp it a little better. But I'm literally going over the recent past with a finer tooth comb. And that's what happened with my conversation with my husband. We started, for the last few weeks, we've been trying to move, and then we woke up Saturday morning and my husband's like, are you ready to do this when we move? And I was like, what do you mean? Of course, I'm very upset about it. Doesn't that count? That was my argument. I was freaked out about it in the middle of the night last night. That means I care. And he's like, no, but have you planned it? That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And both aspects are important. You need to feel about it, and you also need to plan about it. And the other thing that I just did yesterday was I buried my two birds, one who passed 2.5 weeks ago. before Mercury retrograde and one who passed about a year ago. And I just haven't, every time I think about it, I just cry. You know what I mean? Like to want to take his little body out and put it in the ground. And so I went over that again yesterday, something that was from a year ago, in putting him into the ground and reviewing this concept of it's okay, even as a person who is, saying we're more spirit than we are physical, to be okay with the fact that I'm departing from that physical form and to love it as much as we do. Anyway, sorry not to be a downer, but it's interesting that I did all of those reviewal things yesterday.
It's a beautiful example because the communication allowed you to see what was buried that you weren't able to access before.
Yes.
And so it not only reviews, but gives you access to things that may not have been really upfront in understanding how it was affecting you. And when you get to slow down, you get to resolve these things. It's about reworking and re-acknowledging and reconnecting to something that may have been causing issues. And so when you find that something goes south, like invitations didn't go out on time or they got lost in the mail, there's usually something beneficial about it, even though we can't see it right away, that there's, something in the feeling that if we were to go backwards, it's bad. It's something that's going to cause us more frustration, more pain, more anguish. But in actuality, what it's doing is giving you the clearing before you go ahead. It's that assumption that if we get slowed down, we're being held back.
Right.
We're being held back from something. That's what causes a lot of people frustration during these retrograde periods. We also have Jupiter in retrograde right now too, which is the planet of expansion, of luck, of happiness. And that doesn't mean that now people are going to start shrinking and have bad luck. It means that it will be reworking the energy of Jupiter wherever it falls in their birth chart, wherever it falls in their particular area of their alignment. We can talk about the birth chart, but whatever particular area in your life that it's retrograding in, you will be concentrated on that particular area of life. So it's not just about everything. Like Mercury's not going to throw everything at you all at once and say, review everything in your life. Usually there's a particular area of life that it asks you to go over or look forward at before planning anything. It asks you to look at the details, looks at where you are. And in that particular area, you might see some frustration, but not in every area. So rather than seeing it like as an overall interruption to life, there's really, for each individual person, different areas it will affect rather than the entirety of life. There are people that can have contracts signed and still feel okay about it and still, be good about it. It's just that the energy takes more time to come to fruition during this time. And that's a good thing, because once it's ready to go forward, you're clear of what any problems or any troubling issues might have happened if you hadn't gone over what was affecting you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So where Mercury is in the natal chart is going to be the area that it would be impacting. Wait, is that right? Because would it be every single Mercury retrograde then, or it has to do with where Mercury is as well or something? And so every Mercury retrograde, because of where Mercury is in my natal chart, which is something that is concrete. That's how Mercury is going to impact me, probably. Obviously, slightly different perspective.
For the most part, it can get very diluted with a lot of the because astrology in and of itself, the study of it has been so intricately detailed and written about and connected to different interpretations that if we kind of look at it too deeply, we'll just get all confused anyway.
Yeah.
So it does affect us in the area of our birth chart that it's transiting at that time. Also, Mercury is in Aries, I believe, it retrograde in Aries. So that has a particular vibration to it too, because it's in Aries, the inward, rather than outwardly expressing any anger or, forward motion, Aries is a fire starter. They want to go ahead, head first. It will make you kind of go inward in the opposite direction of what the sign is. And we could talk about that all day, but to pay attention to ourselves is really the key, because rather than kind of going, oh shit, oh, excuse me.
That's okay. No, you can say shit here. You can say shit here. Shit.
Okay. Oh shit. Mercury's going to, screw with everything right now. You can start to just look inward. Like, you don't have to go scrambling across the internet looking for the different interpretations. If you can take that time to inwardly see where it's affecting, then you don't need anything else, because you become self-aware. You become your own authority in what needs to be connected to you and what needs your attention. So instead of looking all over the place to find, all right, where's my birth chart? What's it transiting? How do I find out? What energy is it in? And all of that other stuff, looking inward would be the best and most accurate way to determine how Mercury or the planetary alignments is affecting you.
Yeah, awareness is everything.
Yeah. And so it really isn't about what is making the changes on Earth or what is going to happen. Astrology isn't about predicting, or it isn't like a science that says when this, particular area of your chart is lit up, this will exactly happen. It's the energy that we are perceiving it in. It's how we respond to that energy that makes it either good or bad. My astrology tutor says to me, like, I say, oh, is this a bad alignment? Is this a bad, thing to have in your chart? And he says, well, is fire good or bad?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, right. It depends on how you use it.
Yeah.
So it really is how you use the energy and how you perceive it. And that's why inner awareness or reflection is the best part of any retrograde period, because that's exactly what it asks you to do. When you fight against that, that's when you have, just like we say, any resistance against something or fighting within something will kind of usually give you the spark to what sometimes the resistance or the frustration alerts you to where it is you need to pay attention. Ideally, we would like not to have the pain of it first before acknowledging it. But sometimes the frustration points us in a direction of where we need to pay attention.
Can I as I'm hearing you express all of this wisdom and all of this support, and if anybody's watching, I smiled a couple of times for very specific reasons. That I pulled cards for myself a couple of oracle cards from two different decks at the end of my meditation this morning. And so one was from Diana Cooper's Atlantis deck, and the card that I pulled is number one in the deck. It's the first card, and it's Ice Age. And she says, before the final golden era of Atlantis, the highest vibrational time on the planet, there was an ice age that helped the planet to basically detoxify. And the guidance was, it is time for you to take some restful time and introspect and everything. And, as I got it, I was like, man, no, I don't want to do that. That's not changing things. That's not shaking things up. And I was like, no, that's okay. That's good. I actually felt it. I was like, you know what? That is true. And I can feel it. And even my body has been telling me that. That was one card. The other card, you said the Jupiter is in retrograde too. The other card was from her Dragons deck, and the card was Aquamarine Dragons from Jupiter.
You are never going to say, I got to interrupt you.
Yeah, I do.
You ever see that post on Facebook where it has the different crystals and you take a screenshot of it?
Oh, yeah.
I got aquamarine just yesterday.
Aquamarine is my birthstone too, and we're in my birth month right now, so woo, planetary alignment, but just alignment of hearts and minds too. Synchronicities are amazing. We actually have a call. Lauren, would you like to take a caller?
Sure.
All right. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this? Hello. Who is this?
Hi, this is April. I have a question about the archangels.
Okay. We have Lauren on with us.
Hi,
Lauren. I have been so attracted to the archangels for over about a year now, and I've been doing a lot of meditation, trying to communicate, and I'm just wondering if there's any message from the archangels.
Okay. So let me let's just go into channel for you and see what we can get. Thank you. So you are revealing a higher frequency for communicating with the feelings of them. So right now you are in communication with their emotional energy. You may begin to feel their light energy around you. Communicating with you is their vibrational awareness of you. What you are asking for is to receive their alignment in directness. You want more answers, more communication, and more available energy to receive their connection, their guidance, their available energy to you at any time. And so what we ask you to do is to release any fears or worries that you're not connecting, and value the experience of awareness of their vibrational awakening of your self-awareness. So what that means is communicating with your energy is the frequency of receiving the Archangel realm. You are connected already. You are receiving their vibrational communication through your alignment to it. You are meditating, you are revealing the desire, and you are receiving a kindness of emotional energy. Please begin by asking them to receive you. Reveal to them that they have the connection of your available energy, that you are connecting to them in desire for their light and for their love. And what we say to you is this: when you communicate with an archangel, it will feel very vibrationally distinct. You will feel their vibration very abruptly at times. You will get a swoosh or an energy of emotion through you. This is how you know you are beginning to directly connect with their energy. And what we say is that their message to you is you are already our compassionate viewer of light. We know that you are connected. We know that you are receiving our love. We know that you are communicating with our guidance because you are receiving it. You are following the intuitive nature that we are asking you to follow, yet you have doubt. Your doubt is the only thing keeping you from a higher frequency of our connection. When we say to you, receive, we ask you to just be in receptive mode. Rather than communicating with a need to accept more energy, just allow the frequency. In other words, as you relax, the energy will become more available. As you receive it, you may feel abruptly like an awareness of abundance immediately. Revealing a higher frequency will sometimes startle the being that you are revealing to. So meaning, when you are receiving, be connected to the vibration of what it is that you are wanting, a direct available energy from the archangel, and then you will feel an increase in your attunements, in your body, in your awareness. This may take some time, but the more communication you have with that desire in love, the more you will able to receive their direct alignment. So not everyone can choose the higher frequency of the directness of their energy. But when awareness of just releasing fear, treating the self with love, and connecting to patience while they increase your available energy to the higher realms, meaning they adjust your frequency to be able to receive their higher energy, you will be patient enough to receive more direct answers and be connected to their communication more often. We love you. We say thank you and good day. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes,
Because
it
what
does
they're
make
saying,
sense.
and I know for me, oh, sorry, go
Because I
ahead.
do feel like at times I feel them like in my heart chakra and my solar plexus. Is that them, would you say?
Yes, because when you ask for that energy, they are always with you. There's nobody that they're not connected to when you ask, every time. But when you're asking for a more direct or a more intuition or intimate connection with their vibration, your field must be adjusted in order to connect with them in that way. And so as they connect with you, they are revealing to you higher frequencies, higher energetic awarenesses. They are connecting to you in guidance, yet you want it more direct. And so the value of that means that your frequency will be more tuned to their energy in order to receive it, and they can receive you. And so as you go through the vibrational adjustments of what they are asking you is to receive it rather than try so hard, just allow the communication to be within your heart. And then over time, you will see that the energy gets quicker. You get more connected right away. You will feel more available energy immediately. You will have less time to connect with their energy, and it will feel more abundant, more connected, more frequency of their energy you will be able to hold. And then you will see how the adjustments will connect you immediately to their guidance and their intuitive connection.
So April, I actually wrote down from when you first presented the question, I wrote down try, and I circled it 3 times. And so this energy of trying, the frequency of trying is recognizing that you're not doing or not receiving. Do you understand that? That's how finely tuned and how literal energy is. So when we're in the belief, the frequency of, and I'm trying to connect, then we're actually activating, I'm not connecting. And so as you say, you ask, I feel them in my heart and my solar plexus, is that them? And that's fine to ask. But next time you feel that and you want to ask, is that them? Just say, yes, that is them. Yes. Just say yes to it. And when you say yes to it and really embody the yes, then that's when it actually expands. Because that's just how energy works too. We place our awareness on it, we receive it, and then it expands and it changes. And I think it would be great to use some affirmations. I wrote a couple out here, but you can find some, craft them your own way. But I am in allowance of love. I am in allowance of love, and feeling that as you say it, I am in allowance of love. And I receive the flow of loving connection. I receive the flow of loving connection. So anything like that, I would do some affirmations, really deep, meditative, affirmative thought to be in that allowance, that receptive state. Does that make some sense?
Yes, very much. I'm writing them down. I receive. Can you just say those 2 sentences one more time?
Sure. I said, I receive the flow of loving connection. I receive the flow of loving connection. And again, craft them however you like, but those are just some suggestions about the energy. And I am in allowance of love. I am in allowance of love.
Okay. Thank you both very, very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Shall we take another call?
Sure.
All right. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this? Hi there.
Hello?
There you are. Hello. Yeah, who's this?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Hi. It's Jessie.
Sorry?
Yes, hi, it's Jessie. It's Jessie.
Jessie. Hi, Jessie. How are you? We have Lauren on with us.
Hi. I'm
Hi,
okay. I'm hanging in here. I just wanted to check in because I'm going through major transition, and having been ill and at home for many years with just a little bit of my intuitive work kind of creeping in here and there, I've got now 2 positions starting this week. And I'm completely overwhelmed and don't want to leave my bed. I mean, it's good because both places, which they'll basically support me until I can transition to doing my real passionate work. But the overwhelm is rather interesting. And they're both people who are seeing me, like really seeing me and wanting me there. Mm-hmm. And that's huge. Mm. So I'm curious, is it just the contrast that from what hasn't been in terms of being in the world? I don't know if it's astrological or through your guides, what you could offer for me to manage this with a little bit more joy.
Sure. Lauren, Yeah, absolutely. Lauren, do you?
Sure. So what I'm getting is that you have new opportunities your way, and yet you're feeling overwhelmed by them. You're feeling connected to knowing that this is your path and you feel really good about it, yet the feeling of doubt, fear, or worry is still communicating with you right now. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because what I want to be doing is being online with you ladies. I want to be in your world. That's my desire.
Okay. And so
this is so far from, I won't give you the details. It doesn't matter. They're both reasonable positions.
And so are you really fearful that going into these positions means you are not doing the work of your heart? You're not following your higher guidance or your higher self?
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Okay. So that is a communication of which we would say to you that when you're perceiving an emotional connection to what it is that you're doing, and it feels very angry in such a way that you're asking for a communication that said, I believe I should be doing the things that I love to do, yet I'm still feeling trapped by the guidance of what I should be doing. I feel pain that I should take this job until I get to a place where I can do my passion. That is, in a way, frustration and anger that is communicated into sadness or fear.
Yeah.
What we would say to you is that the communication of your awareness is not only balancing you right now and discovering that you have an emotion that is in conflict with what it is your desire is, an emotion that I need to take a job for me to feel good enough in order to receive that my compassion for my art, my joy for doing the spiritual work is on hold. This feels like anger. That anger is asking you to look at a frequency of pain. The pain says, I don't want to work at a job that I don't feel really connected to. I want to work at a job that makes me feel good about what I'm doing spiritually. And so when we ask you to release the feeling of fear about that, there comes a feeling of anger. I don't want to be where I am. I want to connect with my guidance and trust that it will lead me to success on my spiritual body of connection to that. My body is asking me to look, where am I feeling pain? Where am I feeling frustrated? Where am I feeling anger? So we've identified with the pain. We've identified with the connection of why you are angry. Once you connect with the why, you say to yourself, well, yes, that's it. What do I do about it? The connection of that says, well, if I can release fear that my connection to my spiritual work is not diluted by the fact I'm having a new job or a new position, yet it is being encouraged by the new job. That once I begin changing or connecting to feeling good about money, my confidence in revealing more spiritual clients, more connection to my spiritual work will raise. Once I get to that point, my body will receive more energy towards my spiritual work than it is my condition of need. So what we say to you is this: when you connect with the feeling of going to work in a place or position that's not really what you desire, you're saying, this is failure. This is failure. And that is where the pain is coming from. And that is where the anger is revealing to you, what is my pain? Feels like failure, feels like judging myself for not have the alignment to go forward before now, not having the intuition or the guidance to do more in my spiritual guidance. This feels like failure or something I have judged myself not ready for. When you release that judgment of failing and see to it that you are producing opportunity for yourself that is including your desire to grow your spiritual business, you relax because you don't see it as a limitation. You see it as a condition that is helping you get to where you want to go. So rather than choosing failure of not being where you want to be yet, choose the awakening of the choice that you have created. You have created a situation in which you can grow your business and still feel good about money or abundance. You have created a situation in which you have found the opportunity to feel good about your desire. Not only do the people see you for who you are, you have the chance to be confident and grow in the spiritual connection of which you are really wanting. So it isn't so much that you have failed or decided that you weren't ready yet. It is that you have created an opportunity to grow in love for what you truly desire. So doesn't that feel better than feeling as if you are being put on hold, that something is stopping you, that somehow you have failed? Because in reality, that is the truth, that you have created opportunity, that you have created abundance for yourself. It is not the failure of your mind's thought process. It is the truth of your heart that you have come available to an opportunity that will allow you to feel better, connect with the spiritual guidance, and begin to grow the business of your choice. So this is a valuable communication, because rather than seeing yourself as lack, you are now seeing yourself as abundant. And that is the truth of all people on earth. You are abundance, you are creators, and you believe in yourself enough to create an opportunity. And even though the mind doesn't recognize it, the soul understands what is happening. Do you see?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Even though the mind doesn't understand
so,
the mind doesn't see it, but the soul understands. Yes.
Yes, and it's spot on, really. I've been so confused by the emotions of this, and as you said, judging myself and then judging myself for being so confused. So this is really, it's really clarified things.
Clarity is what it's all about. As soon as you are clear on where you're headed, everything begins to fall into place in a better situation. So trust that you are going to exceed your expectations. That what we say to you is that your frequency, now aligned to a better connection, you will allow more opportunity and more communication and more available energy to your business. And it will grow more quickly than you had expected to just 10 minutes ago. We love you. We thank you. Good day.
Jesse, as Lauren was as Lauren was speaking, or as the channel was coming through, the message was coming through the channel, I saw you seeing these opportunities as a wall. And if you could recognize that and then see them shrink down, and then recognize this is not a wall, this is a step. If you could see a brick wall shrinking down to the size of just a step, that's the reality. That's the reality of it. And for the overwhelm is all about asking you to become present, asking you to be present, because present, the moment of now, is where God is. That's where the only truth is. And a little affirmation to write down and bring with you all the time when you feel that overwhelm is something as simple as, I am here now and I am well. I am here now and I am well. Because the overwhelm is saying, if I do that, I do this later, and in the past I've done this and I do that later, then I'm going to die, is basically what the overwhelm is telling us. But I am here now and I am well. That means that everything that happened in the past was accurate, because you're here now and you're well. So that is the only place to be and to recognize. So you might want to do that 1,000,000 times a day. Say that to yourself, I am here now and I am well. And that'll bring you present. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Jesse. So many blessings to you. You're doing so well. You're doing so well. I'm very happy for you and how well you're doing.
So grateful for you women in my life, you little angels in my life.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you, Jesse. I love how you do like the affirmations and the visualization, because so many times the emotion gets calmed, right? And we should work together more often. No,
please.
The emotion gets calmed, and then the affirmation takes a stronger hold. The visualization takes a real feeling. So I love that.
I think it's my Capricorn moon, right? My Capricorn moon is saying, make it into something, form it, make it earth. We are over time, and so grateful for the allowance of going over time. Lauren, I would love for you to tell everyone about the work you're doing right now, how they can connect with you, because I'm very excited about all the work you're doing. And please, yes.
Okay, so I have two, I do one-on-ones, channeled intuitive one-on-one. You can reach me at soulfultransformations.com, or just go to my webpage or my Facebook page, Soulful Transformations, and you'll find links to everything you need. The two programs that I have now, one is called Spirit Speaks. It is like a subscription program. It's something that I wanted to make really, really affordable, yet really, really effective to those who join. It's $29.95 per month. And you can cancel at any time. There's no commitment or anything. It's 3 sessions a month, live interactive sessions in a group format where the angels come through not only with heartfelt guidance for everyone there, but they also get an intuitive alignment. Their energy gets kind of aligned to that higher frequency. And anytime you can align your frequency to a better experience, you go off and have a better experience. So it really is meant to give people an affordable and loving way to really start shifting their energy and be connected to a group of people that really hold a higher frequency. So that's called Spirit Speaks, and that's one program that I'm currently doing. And we also work with the moon cycles and the energy. So we align you to the current energy so that you can use it to the best advantage, to the best outcome. And then Body of Light program is a group program, a group coaching program. It's 6 weeks long. It starts April 17th. And it's basically a communication that takes you step by step through the process of alignment towards your inner guide, your inner self, your higher guides, your higher communication. But first we start with the root chakra, the grounded body, because if you start to do so much without having that strong foundation, oftentimes the cracks, no matter what you build upon that foundation, will show through. What this course does is give the foundation of the root chakra through the earth star chakra, and we work emotionally, we work vibrationally, we work with the guidance of the archangels, we work with the tune-up process, we work with the support of a group together, we work with my intuitive nature as well, connecting to my knowledge of health and wellness. So it is that we work through feelings of safety, security, abundance, compassion, joyful creation, truth through the throat chakra, and then the higher guidance comes easily. Once the body is grounded and gridded, intuition becomes second nature. There's no trying to open your third eye. It just opens because you feel safe and secure in your body and in your soul energy. And so that's called the Body of Light. It starts April 17th. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I don't mind answering your, if you want to send me a message on Facebook and ask me, what does it all involve? I'd love to help any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Amazing work. Really, I encourage you all to go check out Lauren's work at soulfultransformations.com. And my website is triciacarcharm.com, 101 sessions. And I'm about to announce a very exciting educational opportunity and connection with whoever. Many people have been asking me for some mentoring, and I have something wonderful that is developing, but I'm going to let the Ice Age form it. And I will talk about it then. So again, thank you so much, Lauren Antuofermo, soulfultransformations.com. What a beautiful session we had today. And thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Pacific, or you can find the archives on youtube.com/Tricia Carr or any podcast outlet, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes. And we will be on ubnradio.com channel 1 or on my social media outlets live on Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.